On episode 320 of The Gaming Outsider, Zach, Scott, and myself reminisce about the Xbox One and the PS4 as we head into a new console generation. In news, we discuss news from Bioware regarding a new Mass Effect game, as well as some new surprises for Xbox Game Pass subscribers. This is The Gaming Outsider.
Well, greetings, programs, and welcome to episode 320 of The Gaming Outsider, a video game podcast with a focus on our incredible community. It's Monday, November 9th. I'm your host, Scott Clark, and joining me are my friend, Zach Parkerson.
New consoles.
We're almost there, man. And Chris Behrensmeyer.
Yes!
We're so excited.
Wow.
I actually got confirmation that mine is shipped. It will be here tomorrow by 8 p.m. I'm very excited.
Wow.
You
did not cancel either pre-order then?
Yes, I did cancel the PS5. Well, I didn't cancel it. I have hooked up a friend.
Oh, you've sold it
PS5.
forward. Oh, should I be keeping an eye on my mailbox?
No, it's not you.
Okay.
It's not you.
I see. You're trying to trick me into not getting excited. I understand.
No, that's not what's happening. If I could afford to buy you a PS5 as a gift, I would be keeping the PS5. So it's nothing against PlayStation. I will get one eventually, but I have had not as much time to play games recently as I can, so I'm having a hard time justifying dropping $1,000 right now for me playing as little as I have. Things are very, very busy. Very busy, but...
All I know is I pick mine up at 7:45 in the morning tomorrow.
So you're going to be setting it up. You're going to be playing while I'm at work. I'm going to be so angry.
It's going to feel so good.
So, yeah, I'm going to have to buy Valhalla. I'm going to have to buy it.
You have to buy it tonight.
I do have to buy it tonight. Dang it.
Because...
Anyway, I say I haven't had a lot of time to play. However, CB and I did put in quite a few hours on Saturday. We had plans to go up to Milwaukee to meet up with our buddies at the EXP Cast for their Extra Life charity stream. And we decided last minute that we thought that might not be a good idea. We had some positive cases at my school, and even though I had no direct contact, it just didn't seem like the smart thing to do. So instead, CB and I decided to do some streaming outside on my deck, right outside the back porch of my house.
Yep.
And we set up 2 TVs, set up some games, which we'll get to later on in the games we've been playing, but CB was genuinely fun to hang out and play games with you. I feel like we haven't done that in a long time.
I had a blast.
Even though I listen, CB is the most distracted individual ever when it comes to doing anything for long extended periods of time. Within 1 hour of streaming, he says, "Hey, we should go to Disc Replay. They've got this vault sale they're doing. They're selling a bunch of rare stuff in the vault." So next thing I know, I'm standing in line outside of a retail store, a video game retail store, taking a number to get things to be the first to. We were the first 2 in line, actually, weren't we?
Yep.
1 and 2. So we could get first crack at all these rare items in there. And
did you get anything cool?
I got a box copy of Oracle of Ages on Game Boy Color.
And some Zelda manuals.
I did get I got the Oracle of Ages, Oracle of Seasons. I think it's the Prima guide, the official guide. I got that as well. So, but that wasn't one of the rare vault items. So it wasn't a lost cause, but it just cracks me up that, like, let's do this 24-hour marathon stream, and 1 hour in, we have to go to the store.
Hey, I've been playing already. You had to update.
That's true. It took me a while to update my PS4, but we'll get to that. And then lunch, we go to eat. That was another hour and a half break. And then I had some technical difficulties, which I'll get into later, which makes me very sad. But all in all, it was a lot of fun. We had a good time. We did some streaming with the community towards the end of the night. Who all was there? Newman was there.
David Newman.
Jacob. Oatmeal.
Yeah.
Oatmeal
Jacob and his son. Okay, so it's really funny because we're playing. This might have been the first time you played with Jacob and his son, but Jacob's son is, I think, like 13. So we have this rule: if we have kids in the room, we try to curb our language a little bit. Because believe it or not, even though we keep this podcast pretty clean, we all curse like sailors. And whenever we have a kid in the room, we kind of make it a rule to watch it a little bit. And his kid goes by the handle Oatmeal. So whenever somebody accidentally lets one slip, we all yell Oatmeal to remind him that there's a kid in the room. So that's become our new earmuffs, which is
It did not. It did not work out well.
No, it didn't.
During
Nope,
it really didn't.
Oatmeal got as perverted as we were.
Yes, he had some. We were playing Jackbox Party Pack 7, and his answers were some of the most perverted of all of us. I think
They were pretty funny.
they were pretty funny.
Yeah.
That was Jackbox 7, a good time, and we didn't even play all the games. What else happened? Anything else going on this week with you guys?
I mean,
Anything new and exciting?
I picked up some stuff from the vault.
You want to talk? I didn't know if you wanted to talk about it.
Well, we weren't live streaming with one of my wife's friends watching. So I picked up Dragon Force for the Saturn, which is a working designs title. It was expensive.
It's not inexpensive. Yeah.
Yeah. Grab that. Grab Pandora's Tower for the Wii, and then 2 Nintendo Labo kits.
Nice.
Which were
Unopened, sealed. Yeah. That was pretty good.
So,
I actually missed out on a really cool item. Zach, I don't even know if you know these exist, but they make these variant or modded SNES carts of Link to the Past, where modders have gone in and like redone the game or made different puzzles. They've just used the engine and modded it.
Right, or like add randomizers and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
But the box art looks legit. It looks like a real game, and some of the box art looks even cooler than some of the actual box art of the games. And there was one with Link wearing a red tunic that I just thought was really cool because you never see him wearing a red tunic on the cover of anything. It's always green.
It was Parallel Worlds.
Parallel Worlds, yeah. So the way it worked is you had to take a number to get a crack at one item out of the vault. And if you wanted to get a second item, you had to take another number and go to the back of the line. So I had a choice between the Parallel Worlds or the box copy of Oracle of Ages. And I felt like no matter what, the Oracle of Ages was going to go.
Right.
So I decided to take a chance that maybe the Parallel Worlds would still be available. And by the time I got through the line, it was somebody like 2 or 3 ahead of me got it.
Yeah.
So I missed out on it. So
darn.
If anybody finds a copy of Parallel Worlds boxed complete.
Are they expensive, these fan-made games?
They're
was
like
$60.
$60.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
They're
I don't know
very
how
well
rare
done.
they are. Yeah, they look like real games. They don't look like something that just a fan put together, even though that's what they are. But it's a lot of good.
I once bought a copy of Star Fox Adventures Dinosaur Planet, of course, underrated gem, just because for $2.99 at GameStop for like $5 or whatever, just because it had some kid drew a cover on it.
Oh,
And it was good, or
It was like solid, you know. He had like all the characters on there, and then like General Claw up in the corner, standing all ominous and stuff. It was just too cute. I had to pick it up.
you still have it?
Probably in a storage box somewhere. I don't imagine why I would have gotten rid of it.
That's cool. That kid, you just made his day. Hopefully he's listening right now.
Wouldn't that be crazy?
That would be crazy.
He's like, I
Maybe he'll-
remember that.
maybe he'll sign it for you.
I bought it at the McChesney Park GameStop, so it's possible.
So it's a possibility.
Yeah, it's not
Local listener?
impossible. That's crazy.
You know what that means? That means that you're going to have to move back here so that if he lives here, he can sign it.
That's right. Yeah, you got to move to get an autograph. That's how it works.
Yeah. That's exactly how it works. Well, let's go ahead and jump into the week's news. It really feels like the only thing that's happening news-wise this week is the new console generation, but we're going to kind of avoid that a little bit because some other interesting things did happen. Bioware did confirm a new Mass Effect game, which is officially in development. Also, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order will be in the It will be in EA Play starting November 10th, which means it will be available on Game Pass. Also, something's cooking up between Microsoft and Disney Plus. Some interesting things happening here. Who wants to kick things off?
I mean, come on, Mass Effect is back.
That's
figured exciting.
You talk about Mass Effect. It is, and I'm happy for people that are Mass Effect fans. Again, I missed the boat on this series. I keep saying I'm going to go back and play it, and I never do. But why are you excited for it?
Now you have a perfect reason.
Go back and just start at the beginning with 4 games, and
There's only 3. I mean,
we're not going to count Andromeda.
Well, I wasn't trying to dunk on Andromeda. It's just the collection is 3 games. That's all.
Oh, well, we're not just talking the collection, though, here, because you're right. The collection is coming, which is Mass Effect Legendary Edition that's supposed to release this spring. But no, they're actually making a brand new Mass Effect game, a Mass Effect 5, if you will.
Right. But that is not exciting to me because, okay. Like, thank you for telling me. This is what I want out of game developers. Like, let me know what you're working on. But I'm not going to, I'll get excited when they show a trailer.
Okay.
But all 3 Mass Effect games with all DLC and pre-order bonuses and promotional deals and all that, that's pretty exciting stuff. That's a lot of game.
I was going to say, do you think they could get away with charging $80 for that?
I mean, that would be a deal.
I mean, it kind of would.
Yeah, it would. Possibly. And I mean, we know that, they went back and touched up the first Mass Effect to make it more playable. So, I mean, this is a very exciting package until you get to the end of the 3rd game and the rotten ending peeks its head around the corner. But until you get there, it's pretty great.
I was actually going to say I'm excited to watch all these Mass Effect fans get let down again.
Yeah, all the new generation of Mass Effect fans are going to be like, wait, what?
Some people did like Andromeda. I know Chad from our team really liked it.
No, we're talking about the end of 3.
Oh, it's abysmal. It breaks the rules of its own universe, which is inexcusable. And no, I've never played Andromeda, so I don't really have an opinion.
Here's what's funny. I've played Andromeda.
Did you like it?
No.
Okay. Well, it's apparently not very, indicative of the other 3, so don't use that as your touchstone.
No, I won't. I used Mass Effect 1 for my touchstone, which I also did not like.
Thank God they're touching that up.
So you're telling me this series is really great. Just half of the games are terrible.
Just 2.
As long as you play 2, you're having a hell of a time.
All right.
That's a 10 out of 10. The other 2 it's a great universe.
That make a great break the seal?
Mass Effect 2, maybe.
Oh my God, that's such a time commitment.
It's not really. The Mass Effect 2 is 30 hours.
If we broke the seal on all 3, though.
Sure. Oh, no. We just do it on 2, right?
Yeah. We'll catch you up.
Just do it on 2. I'll have to pay the $3 or whatever to get my choices selected for me from Mass Effect 1. Is that what they do?
Maybe it'll be in this package.
Anyway, there was a quote from the general manager at BioWare by the name of Casey Hudson, and he said, "A veteran team has been hard at work envisioning the next chapter of the Mass Effect universe. We are in early stages in the project and can't say any more just yet, but we're looking forward to sharing our vision for where we'll be going next." To me, that means we just started. We just want you to know it's there. We're looking at 2025.
It also means the wording really means it is not a sequel to Andromeda.
Well, yeah, I don't think they want to associate anything with Andromeda after the negative press that game got.
Right, but that was supposed to be a trilogy as well.
That's not happening.
No, I understand that, but I'm just saying, if there were fans of Andromeda who wanted the story finished, I would not hold your breath.
I see what you're saying. Do you think, I mean, you know more about this universe than I do. Is it big enough for branching outside paths and storylines? Outside of Shepard? And
it's kind of weird, because if you don't play as a human, the possibilities are endless.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're playing as a human, it's a little bit more limited because you're so the story of the game is 15 years after first contact. So humans are really new to they're not in on the smuggler trades and all that cool stuff yet.
Right.
So if you're an alien, they can do whatever they want, unless they just make it super far in the future, I guess, and stuff doesn't matter. But then I don't know what you do at the ending of 3, so I don't know.
Anyway, CB, any other stories stick out to you?
Well, it's a light week, so Star Wars Fallen Order is coming to EA Play, which is actually really awesome.
That is awesome, and I don't know why we didn't actually consider that before. When we were talking about EA coming, hey, why doesn't Fallen Order come there? It doesn't affect me. I already own the game digitally, so I'm all set. But that is really good news, and that's a big deal. Yeah, I mean, who hasn't played the game at this point? But
I mean, the fact that there are those select few that were on the fence or hadn't played it yet, waiting for a sale, and now if they have Game Pass Ultimate, it's oh, here you go.
Yeah, I'm very stoked for that. And you know what? I should have mentioned this when we were talking about Mass Effect. EA, can we get our Dead Space remaster now too? After the success?
they're pretty new to the remastering of games. So hopefully,
I mean, what other series is as deserving outside of Mass Effect from EA?
You're
not going to do any sports titles, right?
I mean, technically every year a sports title is a remaster.
Wow, I'm not going to say that. I heard this year was.
Yeah.
Chris Owens reviewed it and said it was basically the same. Like they actually had, didn't he say they had ads in the back that had the date from the previous year or something?
They were the exact same ads with the dates from the previous year.
Right. That's pretty messed up.
That's awesome.
I thought this was interesting with a little bit of a partnership between Microsoft and Disney. Xbox Game Pass, their handle, kind of tweeted a picture that said, all we're going to say is that we're not posting The Mandalorian and the Child for no reason. And they had a picture of The Mandalorian and the Child, which got everybody to speculating and guessing that maybe Disney Plus was going to be coming to Xbox Game Pass. And that's partially true. It's basically a promotion where if you sign up for Ultimate, you get 30 free days of Disney Plus, which is nothing to sneeze at. But
hey, perfect time for it because you'll get to watch Mulan now without having to pay for it.
Oh, that's true because you can. That's just going to be like free eventually.
Yeah,
instead of paying $30 for it. I really want to talk to somebody that's paying $30 to rent those movies. I kind of get it. For the kids, maybe, because the kids will watch it 4 or 5 times in a 24 or 48 hour period, maybe. Movies aren't worth $30 to me.
Well, I mean, at the same time, it's in place of going to a theater, was their thought.
Mm-hmm.
That's an experience.
Right. You pay a premium price at a theater for the sound and the big picture and the smell of popcorn walking in and making you want to spend more money.
It's not your couch they spend every night on anyway.
True, but I've seen some people's home theater setups and it's pretty close.
Aaron Peterson is cursing your name right now.
Well, right. I still enjoy it because I like the experience of having all the other people there and watching people's reactions. I mean, when you and I went to Endgame together, like you watched me cry a little.
The girl next to us was sobbing.
That's so funny. The crowd of Infinity War made the movie way better, but the crowd of Endgame made that movie way worse.
Really?
Yes.
Man, I enjoyed I will agree with you that the when Cap was revealed in Infinity War, that moment was just awesome.
People stood up.
I will never. I don't know if I'll ever experience that again. That feeling felt awesome. Anyway, listen to the Hollywood Outsider podcast for more talks like this about theaters and movies. Like I said, a little bit of a light news week, so we're going to go ahead and move on and just remind you guys that we are an independently funded podcast, and we could use some support from you guys, and we do have a Patreon available with different tiers that each provide different rewards. You can join for as little as $1, but at the $3 level, we'll give you 1 extra bonus episode. At the $5 level, we'll give you 2 bonus episodes, and they go up from there. CB, what is available for people to check out now in terms of bonus episodes?
Well, we have our spoiler cast of Star Wars Squadrons, as well as our new Break the Seal on Dante's Inferno.
I heard that conversation got a little spicy towards the end.
Got a little heated.
Yeah.
Won't lie. But it was fun. It was fun.
So color me intrigued.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it later. So I also know that we have our Break the Seal on Final Fantasy VI coming up, as well as some other things in the works that Spencer's been putting together.
I know he's been asking the community for what kinds of things they'd like, and we've gotten an overwhelming number of responses of people that want those. What's the episodes where we just sit around and BS? I can't going gone. No. That's the trivia. The going gone is the trivia.
Go after dark.
The meet the press essentially.
It was something to the mic, or I can't remember what it was, where we just basically sit around and learn personal stuff about each other, and people kind of want that. Maybe just have some fun conversations. Maybe I could drum up a celebrity voice actor or actress to come join us. That'd be fun. I'll see what I can do. So anyway, if any of that sounds interesting to you, head over to patreon.com/thegocast. We do appreciate your support. It helps us keep the show going and helps us fund R2V2, whenever that next one will be, which we're going to be looking forward to in 2021. Let's go ahead and jump now to the games that we were supposed to have been playing. Zach, I hear there's a couple games coming out this week.
Yeah, strap in, folks.
I'm gonna sit back and just listen for a while because
I hope you like the monologues. All right, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, hit indie franchise coming to
Holla.
Xbox Series X and S. First time I've said that. PS4, Xbox One, PC, and Stadia, November 10th. Tetris Effect Connected is an Xbox Series, Xbox exclusive, as much as they have, coming to Xbox Series X, Xbox One, and PC, November 10th. The Falconeer, a game where you fly.
Wait. I got to stop you for just 1 second. I still feel like it's cheating calling Tetris Effect Connected an Xbox exclusive.
It's a Microsoft exclusive.
It was on PlayStation first without the connected. Right?
Yeah, that was just Tetris Effect. This is Tetris Effect Connected.
I understand. The core game is the same. They've added a multiplayer component, and calling it an exclusive game just seems a little sus to me.
I mean,
yes, I just said sus.
Calling Demon Souls an exclusive is also pretty darn sus.
Well, I mean, it was a PlayStation exclusive. At least that's
fine. A PS5 exclusive,
right?
Is sus, but that seems to be the game they're trouncing. They're parading around. The Falconeer, a flight combat game, plays a Falcon, coming to Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One and PC, November 10th. Planet Coaster gets its console edition and Xbox Series X and S. PS4 and Xbox One, November 10th. Sakuna of Rice and Ruin dares to release a PS4 and Switch PC game on November 10th. Speaking of daring releases, Liftoff Drone Racing, a game about racing drones, thinks it's going to stand out on November 10th on PS4 and Xbox One. What a choice.
Pretty big market for that, actually, man.
I'm sure there's a huge drone community. That is not the day.
Yeah.
Here's what's weird about a drone game to me. Isn't flying a drone basically like playing a video game, but you're controlling it with your device?
Drones are expensive.
Yeah, that's true. The
racing drones are expensive.
There must be like a whole community of people who just watch drone races on YouTube and stuff, right?
Oh yeah. It's a big thing.
I believe it. And I, not in my world. Gears Tactic finally leaves PC and comes to console on Xbox Series XS and Xbox One, November 10th. Destiny 2's expansion Beyond Light comes to Xbox Series XS, PS4, Xbox One, and PC, November 10th. Enlisted, coming to Xbox Series X and S, November 10th. Bright Memory, that's that cool Asian shooter, maybe by like one dude, coming to Xbox Series X and S, November 10th. 13, that is a remake of 13, coming to PS4, Xbox One, and PC, November 10th. And then Yakuza Like a Dragon, coming to Xbox Series X and S, PS4, Xbox One, and PC, November 10th. But hold on, guys, on top of that, Borderlands 3, Dead by Daylight, Destiny 2, Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition, Dirt 5, Evergate, Fortnite, Forza Horizon 4, Gears 5, Grounded, King Oddball, Manifold Garden, Maneater, NBA 2K21, Observer System Redux, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Sea of Thieves, Warhammer Chaos Bane, Watch Dogs Legions, WRC9, and Yes Your Grace all get Xbox One X or S versions November 10th.
Whew. Need a breath?
That's a lot of games that I can't wait for everyone to talk about on Twitter. Like, look how great Grounded looks on Xbox One X. That'll be the big selling point.
Well, the funny thing is, the list is not over.
Right, because unbelievably, there are 2 consoles releasing this week. One of them, first of all, I did not realize PS5 was coming out on Thursday.
Yeah.
Is that not bizarre?
It's a bold move.
That is unusual. I guess you can get your console set up for Friday, maybe, and if you take a 3-day weekend, I guess. Is that the thing?
Probably the theory.
Yeah.
I think Xbox was going for the Veterans Day, which, by the way, lucked out for me. No school on Wednesday. The console comes out on Tuesday. Guess what I'm doing on Wednesday?
Playing a bunch of Xbox One games that look prettier.
Probably just one. No, I'm going to play Valhalla. I guess it's technically an Xbox One.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to rain on your parade, but we've rained on the parade of the next gens having nothing for months now. I can't have you just getting indoctrinated on me. All right. Sackboy, A Big Adventure comes to PS5 and PS4 November 12th. The Pathless comes to PS5, PS4, PC, iOS November 12th. Look at that little iOS action in there. Spider-Man Miles Morales, the only game on this list that actually matters, comes to PS5 and PS4 November 12th. Godfall coming to PS5 and PC November 12th. Just Dance 2021. Isn't that crazy? They're still making those.
Yeah.
Coming to PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and Stadia November 12th. Finally leaving the Wii behind.
Oh, wow. That's a good point.
That is, but I'm trying to figure out how to play that on Stadia.
End of with the lag.
Yeah.
Sounds awful.
Does sound awful.
I just can't. I cannot believe the Wii versions of Just Dances are finally dead.
Yeah.
Oh, don't worry. I'm willing to bet they'll probably be like, oh, we'll release one more.
Yeah, here we go. Just Dance 2022 due to popular demand coming to the Wii. Esports Life Tycoon, which just sounds like a sad game. PS4, Xbox One, November 12th. Astro's Playroom, which is actually kind of looking pretty cool. Coming to PS5, November 12th. There's a lot of PlayStation Easter eggs in that game. You know, you get to go around with Kratos. Bug Snacks coming to PS5 and PS4 November 12th. That's probably going to be huge with kids. Demon's Souls coming to PS5. That's a remake as well, November 12th. And then Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Borderlands 3, Destiny 2, Destiny 2 Beyond Light, Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition, Dirt 5, Fortnite, Maneater, NBA 2K21, Observer System Redux, Planet Coaster Console Edition, Spider-Man, and Watch Dogs Legions all gets PS5 versions on November 12th as well. And pretty much those giant lists of games that are getting new versions this week are all a free upgrade except for Spider-Man.
Yep.
So,
by the way, didn't we see Insomniac announce today that they're going to let you carry your game from PS4 over to the remastered version on PS5?
Yes, there's going to be a post-launch patch that'll let you move your PS4 save to your PS5, a feature that all of these other games also already had. And they're going to add the PS5 exclusive suits to the remaster to the PS4 version, which is actually pretty cool because they have the Andrew Garfield suit in there. It's just crazy that I just rattled off like 30 games, and one of them is making you pay.
Yeah.
But there are people online trying to defend it as like, oh, look at all this work they're putting in. Even though everyone else is putting in the same work and not charging you a dime. Disgusting.
Interesting.
Disgusting. Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War coming to Xbox Series X and S, PS5. Look at that. First time I said those two together. PS4, Xbox One, and PC, November 13th. And then, which I find like the curveball of the week, Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory, the music rhythm game, coming to PS4, Xbox One, and Switch, November 13th. Hey, you gonna get any of those, guys?
A few.
Valhalla all day.
No, you guys are jazzed for Valhalla, I'm sure.
The reviews dropped this morning on social media, and they are overwhelmingly positive.
Aren't they
at least
usually?
from the headlines? Yeah. I mean, but I also like those games.
Since Origins, they've been on track. I'm actually going to pick up Falconeer because that looks pretty good.
I really want to play the campaign for Cold War, Black Ops Cold War.
I do too.
Looks great.
It does. After that last Call of Duty game that was shockingly good.
Yeah, Modern Warfare. It was really good.
Was it Modern Warfare? Is that what it was called?
That was the most recent one, yeah.
Oh man, I just those in the dark missions, or the what do you call that? Night vision goggle missions.
Yeah, where like when they do the 2-scale apartment building. That was such an awesome level.
That was so. I wanted to redo that. I never want to redo levels, and I just wanted to do it again. It was so good. And Ronald Reagan's in this one. I don't know why that makes me want to play it. But
I was going to say that's a kind of a strange selling point, but to each their own.
I mean, have we ever had like an actual real president?
They had John F. Kennedy in the video game before. First Black Ops.
John F. Kennedy, yeah.
Was he?
Yeah.
And wasn't Nixon in it too?
He might have been on that. Maybe he was in the sequel. I don't know.
Interesting. What about you, Zach? I mean,
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Yeah, it's
Pretty excited about Spider-Man. It's kind of crazy that this, Miles Morales, he was only created in 2011, and now he's in cartoon shows and leading movies and video games. It's kind of wild. It's such a fast trajectory for a comic book character.
It's only 9 years old.
Also insane to think that 2 years ago, nobody knew who Miles Morales was but comic fans, and now he is everywhere.
Oh yeah,
now
he's a household name.
He is getting beat into our skulls who Miles Morales is.
He's a cool character.
Of course, yeah, he's great. I've read every issue he's ever been, or he's ever led.
So we don't have any new games to talk about this week. Let's just talk about what we've been catching up on. CB, let's start with you. What did you play during our stream?
Played a good chunk of Watch Dogs Legions. I'm getting pretty close to the end.
Mm-hmm.
And then smashed out some more Freedom Finger.
Yeah, it's the first time I got to watch CB play Freedom Finger. That game looks really frustrating to me. It's not my cup of tea at all, but it was good to see him have a good time. Zach, how about you? Anything new and exciting this week, or are you still playing catch up?
Somehow I'm still cranking away on Hades. I just want to bring up, I know some people say they like to hear our week-to-week updates. I had a sultry romantic scene in Hades. It was kind of a little risque. Zagreus taken to his bedroom, whips were cracking. It was a good time.
Whips were cracking?
Yeah, man. They're not playing around in a Tartarus.
Wow. That's interesting.
Yeah, great game.
So you're still playing that game?
I mean, there's still new stuff every time I complete a run.
That's crazy to me.
It's
shocking how large that game is.
It has so much. I just discovered a new gameplay mechanic.
Seriously?
Yeah.
How many hours do you think you've put into Hades?
I think it's like over 50 or 60 last time I checked on the Switch. It's pretty great.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
That is pretty impressive.
I did finally exhaust the third boss. It was like finally just like most of their dialogue is just like, all right, let's fight. And like they don't have new stuff to say.
Oh, yeah.
But otherwise, like everything else is still brand spanking new, man. It's crazy.
That's kind of crazy. I'm glad you're digging it, man. I'm glad we finally found a game in that genre that you like as much as you do. That makes me feel happy.
Hey, Scott, I got a question.
Yeah?
What'd you play?
All right, so these guys told me last week that when we were doing this charity stream, I had a bunch of choices of games to play. And the overwhelming response I got from CB and Zach was that I needed to play Ghost of Tsushima. So I fired up Ghost of Tsushima and decided to start it all over because I did fire it up before, but I didn't make it past much of the tutorial. So I started it over, going through the tutorial, and everything was going great. I was like, man, I just really like this this gameplay. It feels good. It started to come back a little bit, the little bit that I played. And then all of a sudden, half of my screen disappeared behind some scan lines. And I freaked out a little bit and thought, I'll just go jiggle the cord. Something's wrong here. No, my PS4 is officially toast. My PS4 Pro is officially toast. So I finally had time to play Ghost of Tsushima and get some of that gameplay under my belt. And I was hampered by bad hardware and CB being distracted by everything besides video games during a marathon stream.
It was only like a couple hours.
Oh, man.
You let him. You went along with him.
I know. I can't say no to CB.
It was really frustrating to watch because you could tell that you were starting to get like invested,
and
then just poof, and it just dies,
just like instantly. And so I turned it off and back on, and it worked again. I was like, oh, it was just a fluke. And then about 10 minutes later, just popped up again.
That's heartbreaking.
Really bad. Yeah.
It
so
really
someday
is.
I will play that game, guys. But it's probably going to have to wait until PS5.
And on the eve of Miles Morales, I guess not that you're going to play it with Assassin's Creed out, but still.
I mean, I would dabble in it. I would dabble, but we'll see. But
He's
anyway,
a dabbler.
We learned something very interesting while I was playing it before my PS4 died. The main villain in Ghost of Tsushima is the spitting image of Stoyan Jovic from the EXP cast.
Oh,
It's if Stoy were to gain like 100 pounds.
Yeah, he like Stoy's not nearly as large as the dude in this game, but striking resemblance, I will say. I think CB was posting it on social media as well. I wasn't alone because we were streaming too. I think Kevin and Spencer were both watching me play, and I just blurted out and said, "That looks like Stoy," and they're both like, "Oh my god, you're right." It was pretty funny. Anyway, so after that, I was depressed and I needed something happy to play, so I went back and played Undermine for most of the rest of the time until we played Jackbox with the community, which was a lot of fun.
And I tried to convince him to play Watch Dogs Legions, and he's like, "Nope, I'm just gonna play Undermine."
Well, I was really mad, dude.
I would be.
I know you were.
I would be devastated.
I'd just sit there on the couch next to you.
Yeah, but I had just every technical difficulty that could go wrong for a stream went wrong. That happened, and I have a PlayStation camera, so we were able to. That's where we were streaming, and my camera that I use for my Xbox, I took to school to use on my school computer for remote learning, so I didn't have a camera. So CB drove home to get his camera. We get that set up, and then we couldn't get a microphone to work because my headset for my Xbox died. So I had to quick order one from Best Buy, drive to Best Buy, pick up this cheap $25 headset just so that we could have voice streaming. It was a very disheartening day because I love those marathons, just sitting where you don't have anything else you have to do besides sit and play games all day, and it just got all jacked up, and I was not in a good place for a little while there.
You know what? I had a lot of fun talking with my super fan.
You did talk to your super fan.
Who's your super fan?
Her name is Rachel.
Oh,
she's really fun to talk to.
Yeah, she was a good time. She's going to be the flower girl at our wedding, apparently.
Yeah, apparently Scott and I are getting married.
Mm-hmm. She saw us canoodling on the couch a little bit.
Is this? Do you know this person, or is this a random person?
No, this is somebody that I used to work with.
Okay,
long time ago, back in the day. And she actually came to play Jackbox with us as well. Brought some friends with her. We had a full room of Jackbox. Like everybody,
I was there.
Which is that the first time? No, because we played Gears together, right?
Well, back in the day, we didn't play Gears 5 together.
No. I'm saying since we started doing the show together. Have we ever played online together?
I don't think so.
So our first time ever playing online together was Jackbox.
Well, it was a good time.
It was a good time.
No. We played Fall Guys.
That's true.
Oh,
I don't think I played with Zach, though.
Yeah, I don't think we did.
Yeah. He wasn't in our group, but you were there.
Well,
I was there. Yeah.
Well, we didn't play together. That's the
that's
the
by
crux
proxy
of the issue,
Yeah.
We were supposed to play a bunch of squadrons together, all three of us. Remember that?
Yes.
And
Squadrons and Borderlands and
Squadrons.
I didn't even that's what I should have played, man. I should have played Squadrons instead of Undermine.
Yeah.
Because I made no progress in Undermine. Like almost none.
Because you're in a bad place.
That is actually really sad to think about. The only time the three of us have played a game together, all generation, was 3 days before the new generation starts.
Right.
We had to get one in just to say that we did play. Remember back when we played on Last Generation together?
Yeah, we played on PS4, Xbox One all the time, guys.
Yeah, dude, it was great. So that was what we played this week. Don't worry. Next week there will be plenty of new stuff to talk about, as you heard Zach's list. So we will be back for sure. But let's go ahead and move on and talk about our social media outlets. If you haven't already, I'd encourage you to join our Facebook group over at facebook.com/groups/the-GoCast. It is an awesome group of people. We try to keep it posted regularly with news and reviews and podcast episodes. And we have one new member to say hello to over there. Actually, no, we don't. We don't have any new members. So please check it out. Join the community. We are like 1,100 people strong over there. A lot of good people. We do have a new member over on Discord, however, which if you'd like to join that community, the link is in the show notes of this episode. So we got to say hello to Jello Pool. I believe that was Kayla and Joe. They were on the shared account together playing Jackbox with us. Yeah. And no new iTunes reviews or Apple Podcast reviews. We would really appreciate some support over there if you could drop us a review and let us know what you think of the show. Also, our website, thegamingoutsider.com, where you can find all of our content, including written reviews. Spencer's review of Dude, Where Is My Beer is over there. I'm not making that up. That's a point-and-click adventure about beer. I've got my reviews for Rusty Spout Rescue Adventure, as well as Jackbox Party Pack 7, and I also reviewed Undermine, which is, as Zach can attest to, I really like that game a lot. Also, Rel's video review of Ghost Runner is available. Spoiler alert, he loves that game. Really loves that game. And then Zach's review of Yestermorrow is also available on the site, so be sure to check that out. Let's go ahead now and jump into our From the Outside In topic. We received a very nice email from a listener recently, and in the email, he gave a really good idea for us to discuss this week. But before we get to the topic, I wanted to share his kind words as well as his question. He actually had several questions, so I'm going to just ask the one, and we'll use his other ones later. So his email says, "Greetings, Go Crew. I hope all are well and staying healthy, and of course, getting some game time in. First, just want to commend you on an excellent podcast. I enjoy listening to the show every week and look forward to Wednesdays. With 3 children and working as a registered nurse, I don't get much time to play as much as I'd like to. I also appreciate the family-friendly aspect of the show, especially very little cussing, as much as it kills Zach. Other podcasts have decent insight, but I just couldn't handle the heavy nature of language in those respected shows. So again, thank you for that. Now to some topic ideas. With the dawn of the next hardware generation, how about reflecting back on the current gen? The question would be to you and the community. What are the top 3 or 5 must-play-or-own games for the Xbox One and PS4? What did you like most about these two consoles, and what did you like the least? Keep on gaming. Chris Sessions, who goes by the name of Veets101 on Xbox. Side note, too bad I did not come across your show 5 years earlier, as I used to live in Loves Park, right behind the Beefaroo on Riverside. It probably would have made me stay in Illinois hanging out with you guys, but Arizona isn't too bad. As the saying goes here, you can't shovel sunshine." So, Chris, thanks so much for the very nice email. We do appreciate it, and we did decide to take his story idea this week, since it is the last episode before the new consoles drop. So, by the time this episode airs, we will officially be in the next generation of consoles. The Xbox Series X and S release on Tuesday, and that's tomorrow as of this recording, and the PlayStation 5 releases 2 days later. So, on Chris Sessions' recommendation, we thought we'd reflect on the past few years with the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. So, first off, I'm curious, did either of you guys jump in on the Xbox or the Xbox One or the PlayStation 4 on launch day?
No, I'm
No.
I have patience. And also, I mean, honestly, for both of those console launches, you know what they also didn't really have? Games. Killzone Shadowfall was not enough to tip me over the edge.
I don't even remember what the launch games were for Xbox One and PS4.
I do.
Yeah,
Because I still have them.
Lay it on me.
Dead Rising 3.
Okay.
Forza 5.
Okay.
Assassin's Creed Black Flag.
Well, that was
Rise,
that's
Son of Rome.
cross-gen. That's cross-gen.
Yeah.
Rise, Son of Rome.
Yeah.
I like that game.
I've never played it. It's just like it's such a joke.
Zoo Tycoon.
Oh,
all right.
And Watch Dogs,
which is also cross-gen.
Yeah, but
I know. Are those just Xbox?
Ones? Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I just meant because I know PS4 had Killzone Shadowfall.
I actually did not touch the PS5 until later.
That's
PS4.
It's not out yet.
Yeah, PS4. PS4. I actually didn't get one until
God of War.
No, long before that.
Oh, really? Okay.
It was a literal paperweight for me for a long time.
Oh, so you had one, but you didn't play it?
I had 2 before I actually played it.
Holy cow.
Because I bought a standard one, and then somebody's like, hey, I'm getting rid of my Arkham edition.
Nice.
So I sold my regular one and just used the money from that and wound up getting the Arkham edition for $200.
And you still hadn't played the first one?
Nope. I use it as a Blu-ray player.
That's funny.
Deep pockets, man. It cracks me up.
Well,
it seriously cracks me up.
At the time, it was a lot of that was funded by my old Magic card collection.
All right.
Right.
But,
the mythical frickin' Magic collection.
It's gone now.
Yeah, well, there's still some remnants. It's not
Okay.
100% gone. But I remember those Xbox ones because they actually had a alternate art cover for the
Mhm.
day one editions,
Yes.
which I still have those. And then I had the day one edition Xbox, which the controller actually says day one
Mm-hmm.
on it. And you got that stupid achievement. It's like, oh yeah, day one,
0 points. Yeah.
But
So-
well, my claim to fame on that was I had the first Xbox One sold at Best Buy here in Rockford because they actually gave you a ticket number that had it printed out.
Nice. And you're number one?
I have number one. I still have the receipt.
Nice. That's cool. You think
I
you're
could
bad? You want to know what I did at launch? The Xbox One and PS4 launch? So back when COVID wasn't a thing, and I was actually able to DJ regularly, I knew the new console generation was coming, and I saved up. I did several gigs and put all the money towards saving up for the new generation. And our producer, Nate Lucas, is the one that I blame for my wanting to keep things sealed and never open them to keep their value or make them really expensive down the road. So, on launch day, I had 2 Xbox One Day 1 editions pre-ordered and 2 PS4s pre-ordered. So I bought 4 new consoles on day 1.
And you say deep pockets at me.
Right.
Well, yeah. So obviously I wanted one to play and one to keep sealed, and my plan was to keep them, sealed up, and they're going to be worth millions of dollars someday down the road.
Right. 40 years from now.
Right. That was my thought. Well, my brother needed an Xbox, and it was his birthday. I wound up giving him one of my day ones. And I don't remember what happened with the PS4. I either sold it to somebody or mine died. I can't remember, but
You seem to do this
that
a
plan
lot
did-
where you excitedly pre-order something and then sell it off to somebody else.
well, yeah, but that was when I was still a jerk and was, making money off of it. So I don't do that now. I sold my PS5 to somebody for what I paid for it.
And now you're too little of a jerk and you lose money on PS4s that you pre-order.
Yes. Yeah. It's a true story.
It's not the first one.
Don't get me started
Unreal.
on that. Yeah. Sometimes being a nice guy sucks.
What were the games that you got that you excitedly tore into?
Dude, I don't even remember. I think Black Flag. I mean, just because I love that game so much and I wanted to play it again and get all the achievements. So that was one of the first things I played was going through Black Flag again.
Well, the first thing I played on PS4 was Tomb Raider Definitive Edition.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Which is
I did play Rise, and you said it is kind of a joke game. It's
Right.
nothing but QTEs. I did enjoy that game.
It wasn't bad.
It wasn't a terrible game.
It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad.
Yeah,
I will say
I enjoyed it.
I did get the PS4 is the closest I've ever gotten a console to launch. That was like at the beginning of February of 2014, so like right after it came out, and that was exclusively because Tomb Raider put out a definitive edition.
Ah,
And I was like, well, I must, of course, play the new version of Tomb Raider.
yeah.
That was my excuse. And then I got the Xbox One, I want to say, in the beginning of whatever year Gears 4 came out. I want to say. In
Wow.
in preparation of Gears 4, which I think was like 2016.
I think so.
And then I played a lot of Titanfall on Xbox One.
Played a lot.
It's
Titanfall
so good.
It's one of the only multiplayer games I really got into outside of Gears of War. Like Prestige. What do they call it in Titanfall? I don't remember. Is it Prestige?
It's like a generation regeneration.
Yeah. I mean, I only did it once, but
Yeah.
that was a big deal for me.
Yeah, no,
I played that much of a multiplayer game.
that is also the game that did it. I love Titanfall 2 so much I bought it on PS4 and Xbox One just so I could play it with different people.
Oh, wow. I never played the multiplayer in the second one, just
It
the
is
campaign.
it is superior.
Do you guys have a preference between the Xbox One and the PS4?
I mean, I like my Xbox. Granted, I will say overall the Xbox is my go-to, but the PS4 towards the end of this generation has moved a little bit more into it, but overall I'd still say the Xbox.
Yeah, PS4 guy, myself.
I mean, I played my Xbox more than anything just because I'm obsessed with achievements, but I'm not going to sit here and say that it's the better console. PS4 had much better single-player games, hands down. Now, anything that I could play on either console, I'm playing on an Xbox for achievements, but
right.
PS4 was my exclusive console. The lineup is just far superior. There's no arguing with that. I don't care how big of a fanboy of Microsoft I am and of the Xbox I am.
No, when Rise of the Tomb Raider came out, and wait, no, I had to have. I'm sorry. I was thinking I had to have had an Xbox One whenever Rise of the Tomb Raider came out because I bought that day one. So I must be misremembering. But I remember finding out about a lot of cool features the Xbox One had when that came out. Like you could have the achievement display while you're hunting for the achievement. You know, like it ticking off for you, or you could do like picture-in-picture mode. A lot of cool features on Xbox One. But ultimately, PlayStation did have trophies, so that's where I went. The interface, I will not say one console has a better interface than the other. I dare not raise that kind of ire, but the PS4 interface works better for me.
I will say the Xbox One keeps changing. I feel like it just rotates way more often than I would have expected it to. And they make some changes that just don't make any sense to me. I feel like I have to relearn where everything is. That is one thing I will say about the PS4, is that if it stayed somewhat consistent, like everything was where you want it to be or where it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
I mean, some stuff was buried, but
I still think PS3 had my favorite interface.
Bring back the blades, man.
Yeah, the blades were sick. But the blades would not have done the job once, you know, more and more digital stuff started happening.
Right.
Yeah.
But they made that cool
I used to do that, just make the noise, to sit there and do that over
all
and over
the
again.
time. All the time.
I remember that because when we did the Break the Seal for Christina playing those racing games, and they were on Xbox 360, and I had to get her my 360. And putting that controller in my hands and playing with those blades brought back some memories, man.
You still had blades? Because my 360 was upgraded and it didn't have the blades anymore.
I didn't know they went away from the blades.
Oh, yeah. Once they went to
No, it's not blade. The blades was more like on the, it was early on, but it still made the noise when you shuffled through.
That is true.
That's what I meant. It wasn't the blades, but. So yeah, it's interesting that we got two Xbox fans and a PS4 fan, but we all four are pretty much in agreement that the PS4 was the superior console, because I think at the end of the day, all three of us are more concerned with the games, right? The games are what's important. Doesn't matter,
Yes.
the UI, whatever, the look of the console, whatever, the feel of the controller, whatever. What matters is the games, and the games that you can play on either. We play on our preferred console in terms of achievements, but PlayStation 4 clearly has the better exclusive library.
I loved a lot of the Xbox exclusives, Sunset Overdrive, Gears 4 and 5, but it's just they didn't put out a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I will say stability-wise, I think I'm going to give the edge to the Xbox slightly.
So am I. I'm just going to say.
I mean, I actually had more issues with my PS4 than my Xbox this generation. Like, I will say my PS3 was far more reliable than my 360. Because I think I went through like 6 360s.
Well, yeah, that was the red ring of death.
Right.
Yeah.
If you didn't go through
Monster.
5 360s, then you weren't a real gamer, bro.
Yeah, right.
But this time around, I mean, my Xbox S, that thing was durable. I actually carry that thing around in a backpack all the time. I dropped it multiple times. I mean, the first PS4 that I had before I got the Arkham Knight one, like, I swear to God, I stared at it one day and it stopped working.
That's hilarious.
Well, I mean, you went through 2.
I went of the 360.
No. Well, you said you're the first PS4.
No. I
broke?
upgraded because I wanted the Pro.
Oh,
Because
okay.
I had just got my 4K TV, and I was like, I'm not going to have this expensive TV and not have the best, version of the console. So I sold the old PS4 and upgraded to the Pro. The Xbox One, I want to say it didn't die because I wanted the same thing. I wanted the X. So I actually gave my old Xbox One to a friend who was really wanted an Xbox and needed it. So I just gave it to him and upgraded to the X. And I've had the same one ever since. And you know how many more hours I put into my Xbox than I do my PlayStation. And my PlayStation is now toast. So yeah, I'm going to agree with you and say that thing was a little more durable. And like you said, I've moved that Xbox One more often. How many times did I take it to Stoy's or take it to your house?
Yeah.
I never move my PS4. And the one time I do,
It died.
it goes to crap. Sorry, I'm just a little bitter right now that
The wound is fresh. I still have my same Xbox One from the
OG
from the first day that I bought it. I had a PS4 and then it crapped out. That was right when the Pro came out, so I just traded it to GameStop and upgraded to the Pro. And then I very unnecessarily bought a Spider-Man PS4 Pro.
That wasn't unnecessary.
At this Rockford's, I think it was Rockford's first video game convention, R2V2.
it was.
Where I bought as sponsored by the Gaming Outsider, and I bought my Spider-Man PS4 there very excitedly, and that's what I got now. So I guess I had 3 PS4s and 1 Xbox One, which is not bad for a console generation. It feels like I must have
not.
Yeah.
I must have gone through like 4 original Xboxes back in the day.
I mean, I went through 3 of each this generation.
2 of each, but again, mine didn't burn out. I just upgraded.
Well, and that was it for me because I went from the standard PS4, then I got the Arkham one, and then much to Zach's dismay, then I got the Spider-Man PS4 Pro. Because I remember the day I sold that Arkham one, you were like, what are you doing?
Yeah, as well as madness. The Arkham one is beautiful. And then I wanted to rob you of your PS4 Spider-Man one. But luckily, I just bought one.
Yeah, the look on Zach's face when he was holding that PS4 is the most elated I've ever. Because if you know Zach, he doesn't get like super excited about much. Like he's not very animated.
No,
when he's talking about something he's excited about, just not at all. He was pretty tickled.
Yeah, he was
when he was holding that Spider-Man PS4.
My trigger was the whole convention like clapped or whatever. It was wild. Like you guys insisting everybody was clapping, so then everyone else started clapping. It was kind of a surreal moment.
Yeah, because we were like, finally, you have one.
It was kind of a big moment.
I will say, on the Xbox side, I had the day one. Then I went to the X, the white one.
Yeah.
And then I just broke down and bought a second X, which was the Gears 5 one, which I play on, which to me is quite possibly one of the most beautiful consoles I've ever owned.
It's really cool, too, when you power that thing on and it makes like the ice cracking noise. Which is pretty sweet. I do like that. Well, what are some of your favorite titles from either console? Zach, let's start with you.
Well, I'm going to read Tezapical.
Sure.
He says, I don't have a list at the moment, but Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order was an amazing game. I wasn't going to buy it and did on a whim while picking up Pokemon Shield, and I am so glad I did. Yeah, Fallen Order, man. Definitely makes the list.
On yours?
I will agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
But, yeah. You know what? I'm gonna read it from the community, and then I'll tell you guys my personal picks. Saikidona said, number 1, Witcher 3. Number 2, Nier Automata. Number 3, Red Dead Redemption 2. Number 4, Yakuza 0. And number 5, Persona 5. That's kind of an indisputable list. he kind of picked the critical darlings right there.
Mm-hmm.
All he's missing is God of War.
Right.
I would sub Red Dead 2 for God of War.
Well, I personally would. I'm just saying, like, in terms of like those 5 games are going to make all of the top 10 games of the generation list.
Mm-hmm. If you want to get your comment read on the Gaming Outsider podcast by Zach, just mention Nier Automata.
Yeah,
and it will for sure get read.
My brain is trained to look for Nier spelled that way.
Apparently.
So you can just throw that in there. And then Sean quotes...
hang on one second. I just want to say one thing.
Okay.
Psyche Jonas talks about Overwatch like crazy on our Discord. Like he actually runs an Overwatch league, or he manages an Overwatch team, like competitively, and Overwatch was not on his list. I would recommend going and reading his thoughts on why Overwatch is not on his top 5 games of the generation, considering he plays countless hours of that game. Anyway.
Well, yeah, you phrased it on the Discord, like, what are your must plays? So, yeah, I don't know why he wouldn't pick a game he loves to death.
Yeah, I don't think he does. That's interesting.
He plays it, like everybody who plays the first Destiny.
No, but you ever do something for so long, and at some point it just feels like a job, and it loses its luster?
Yes.
Yeah.
I get the impression that might be it, but I'll let him explain it. Go read the Discord.
At a certain point, it's just part of your pattern. You're like, well, if I don't play Overwatch, then it won't feel like a week.
Isn't that why people hate WoW, CB?
That's why I do.
Yeah, like it just becomes it becomes not fun anymore, and you're doing it just because you feel obligated for either your subscription or whatever.
It becomes a chore.
Yeah. Anyway, I didn't mean to. Sorry to cut you off. I wanted to make sure I got that in, Zach.
Oh no, you're good. That's funny. Sean Coates. Wow, Sean Coates. Said, I have no qualms in declaring that Wolfenstein The New Order is the best modern game of all time. Spider-Man, Far Cry 5, Rise of the Tomb Raider, Doom's 2016 were pretty great too. I just like the boldness.
That is a bold statement.
That's what I'm saying.
Wolfenstein The New Order. I love that game.
Absolutely great.
This is a great game, and I played it multiple times.
Most realistic romance I've seen in a video game.
Oh, New Order was the second one? I was thinking...
That was the first one. That's
the first one. Was
that's where they fall for each other.
Colossus was the second one.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
She's knocked up in the sequel.
Gotcha. Oh my God, that final scene. So good.
Wolfenstein 2 is tremendous.
Oh, it's great. I did love that game. It just felt... I know this sounds like a bad thing to say, considering how realistic games are looking and whatnot, but Wolfenstein New Order felt like a video game. You know what I mean? Like,
but it was a weird contrast because the gameplay felt like a video game, but the story was wonderfully thoughtful, introspective, very character focused. They turned BJ Blazkowicz into this PTSD guy obsessed with his own death and stuff. It was kind of crazy, but then you play the gameplay. You got 2 rocket launchers, and you're going down a hallway fighting a giant robot Nazi.
Yeah.
So interesting. And they somehow make it work.
It totally worked. Second one had potential. Some of the most horrible level design I've ever played in a first-person shooter.
I prefer the second one.
Of course you do.
What does that mean?
Of course you do.
What the F does that mean?
I'm actually with Zach in this camp.
No, come on.
It has a superior story, man.
It has a superior story. It does not have the superior gameplay.
I agree with you. But overall, I remember the second one more because I like the story more.
All right.
The level design is god awful in Wolfenstein 2. There's no question.
And it feels like one hit kills at some point. Like there's no room for error.
That courthouse survival level is atrocious. But
that was awful.
But then also that scene where VJ's memorizing lines for the play or whatever, and somebody walks into the room, I'll never forget it.
That was an uncomfortable scene.
So that's why Wolfenstein 2 is better.
I don't know. The man, how do I say this? The something dropping into a fire scene where that game kind of went insane.
They set it up.
Did they?
Yeah, they talk about it. If you explore the little submarine, they set up the way that could have been done before it happens.
Okay. I did not see it set up, but when that happened, I was like, "Oh, really?" That was crazy.
CB, you've been trying to say something over there.
Oh, I was going to say, I loved the courthouse. I had fun with it because it was just insane chaos.
No way, man. No,
I said
way.
I had fun with it. I didn't say it was great.
No, I
had fun
understand. Yeah, hey, I have fun with Sonic. I understand what you're saying. Yeah, that's no good. But I guess in terms of my 5 games, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, Nier Automata, Rise of the Tomb Raider, Bloodborne. Everyone should play Bloodborne.
I tried it.
And Spider-Man. I'm an honorable mention to Titanfall 2, but Spider-Man, definitely gotta play Spider-Man. It's also just the game practically plays itself. It's just such a good intro kind of game.
Until you get to the fighting.
The fighting is involved, but not on easy, I wouldn't imagine. But in terms of the web swinging and stuff, it's just, press forward and hold R, you'll get there.
But it still feels like you're in control.
Right. They do. They thread the needle very well.
All right, CB, what about you? Favorite games?
Well, I'm gonna follow Zach's route and read the comments first, just because there's some controversy here for me. First off, Brian Lewis, PS4. He put Spider-Man, Last of Us 2, Ghost of Tsushima, Bloodborne, God of War, and then said Xbox One has no must-play exclusives.
What?
It's an insane thing to say, Brian.
So we'll circle back.
Here's what's funny is when he posted that on Facebook, nobody responded and challenged it. And then like a couple hours later, he responded to his own comment and said, name one. I'll wait. And so I responded and said Ori and the Blind Forest.
Or Ori and the Will of the Wisps.
Or
Gears 5, Gears 4.
Well, no, but all I said was Ori. And he responded, all right, you got me there.
Okay.
He actually did say that. So.
Well, technically, you could have said Titanfall, because the first one
was a good point.
Xbox exclusive.
Yeah, Ori's on Switch.
I'll come back to that here in a second.
All right.
My other one, Adam Zed put Forza Horizon 3, Horizon Zero Dawn, so lots of Horizon, Spider-Man, Tony Hawk 1, 2, and Control. Control, man after my own heart.
I'm intrigued by the Forza Horizon 3 over 4, because I thought 4 was the superior game.
Maybe you hadn't played 4.
Maybe. That's a possibility.
I just can't believe people keep putting Horizon on these lists.
True. Well,
it's on mine, spoiler alert.
Well, I'm not. I'm surprised.
Well, in light of Brian Lewis, I made 2 lists. One for the PS4, one for the Xbox. PS4 rattled off no quick, and for me, there's no contest here except for one: Horizon Zero Dawn, Last of Us 2, Spider-Man, God of War, and then I had a semi-tie just because they're in the same wheelhouse for me: Blood and Truth and Moss.
Oh, okay.
So you cheated because you picked 2 PS VR games?
I couldn't think of... The problem is they're two wildly different games, but to me they were such standout experiences for VR. One for the action, one just because it's amazingly cute.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with Moss.
Yeah,
Moss is great.
It's awesome. For the Xbox though, I put the Ori series.
Cheated again.
Yep. Sunset Overdrive.
Great game.
Because I had an absolute blast with that game.
That would be a fun one to revisit, actually.
It's really fun.
There is one review of Sunset Overdrive. I cannot remember what site it was, but they said in their review, it really makes you want Insomniac to make a Spider-Man game. That person really called it.
Yeah. Rounding out Gears 5.
So
Quantum Break.
Oh yeah, man.
That was my first foray into a Remedy game.
That's wow.
I forgot about that one. That was a really great game until the final boss.
Yes. And then Rare Replay.
That's cheating as hell.
That's super cheating.
But it is an Xbox exclusive, and it's a disc.
But then also these other 30 games.
True.
How have they not put that on Switch yet?
It's Xbox exclusive, man.
Why? They have quite a relationship over there with Nintendo.
Yeah. And the hardest part for me with this, though, is because there's so many games that weren't exclusive in this generation that were just absolute gems to me. I mean, like things like Control and like Fallout 4.
Well, and again, we're not necessarily talking about like, I mean, I did one list. I didn't do an Xbox list and a PS4 list. I committed to 5 overall, just because even if they were available on both consoles, it's still from the last generation. The point was this wasn't an Xbox versus PS4, even though we did say which one did you prefer. It's just, favorite games from the generation. So I just did one list. Well, I feel unprepared.
I understand that, but I really wanted to look at it from a semi-exclusive standpoint, because I know like Zach was going to bring in like Spider-Man or Star Wars, Jedi Fallen Order, like things like that. So I wanted to look at like, okay, what were the exclusives that I played on these, and where would I put them?
Sure.
So where is Nier Automata on your list?
I still have yet to play it.
Both of you. We're done with both of you.
Hey, I've played it.
No, you did not.
Since this came out, like I've actually had Nier Automata loaded on my Xbox since it came available for me to play, and I just keep forgetting to like play it.
I bought like 6
Become
copies
as Gods
of the game.
edition. Is that what it's called?
Yes.
All right. Are you good, or you got more?
Well, you go through yours, and then I've got some other tidbits from this generation to talk about.
Some interesting anecdotes.
See.
All right, well, I'm going to start with Kevin Honigford's comment. Man, the only one that screams must play to me is Horizon Zero Dawn. A lot of other games were good, but not must play. Chalk it up to the point that I play most of my games on PC. Yes, Horizon Zero Dawn is on my list. It is on my list of games that I wish I could play for the first time again. I enjoyed that game so much. I know that in the past I say I love a game when I play it multiple times or I want to go back and do it. I don't know if I'll ever go back to Horizon Zero Dawn, so I feel like a hypocrite. But the first time I played that, I just felt really warm inside. I loved Horizon Zero Dawn. Brandon Lloyd said his top 5 are number 1, XCOM 2. This game just blew me away. Number 2, Witcher 3. Number 3, Gears 5, which he says is one of the best looking games to date. I agree, that game does look really good. Number 4, Darkest Dungeon. Insanely awesome RPG. Just bought a game called Warsaw that's similar. And then number 5, both Ori games. He says he hates most side-scrollers or games like that, but Ori 1 blew him away.
He also cheated and just said Ori series.
So he pulled a CB?
Yeah.
Hey, sometimes you gotta skirt around things a little.
The Ori duology.
Duology. Oh, there's going to be a third one. There has to be a third one.
No,
I don't know.
Yeah, their interviews with the developers really sound like they are done with Ori.
That's too bad. They make good Metroidvanias.
Well, they don't. They can make a good Metroidvania that is not Ori.
That's true. Anyway, my list is pretty simple. There's only one real surprise probably, but Titanfall 2 did make my list.
Great game.
One of the best campaigns of the generation. Just an absolute joy to play. Perfectly length. Varied enough where you got to do a little bit of both on foot and in the mech. It made you care for a freaking Titan.
Right.
As a character.
I mean, it perhaps is the greatest single-player first-person shooter campaign to date.
It's really, really good. That section with the prefab houses being designed or whatever is one of the most ingenious levels I've ever played.
Effect and Cause is such a great level where you're going back and forth through time immediately.
Oh, and they've got like the dude's arm is like hanging through the floor of the above you, and you have to get to that it's so cool. And they do it just for the one level.
Right. The Mario level design.
Mm-hmm.
Great idea, throw it away.
Absolutely. Yeah. Leave me wanting more instead of overkilling it. Do that every time. Plus, I think today they announced that Titanfall 2 is coming to EA Pass, or EA, what's that called again?
EA Play.
EA Play, which means we'll be able to have access to it on Game Pass as well. So if you have not played that game, do yourself a favor. Go play that game. It's really, really good. Control made my list because I feel like I've not played a game that intrigued me all the way through it like Control did. Plus, the gameplay was just superb. and fun. And the music. The music.
If it was an exclusive, that would have been number one on my list. That is, I agree. It's probably my favorite game of this generation.
It would not have. I mean, it already sold poorly. Imagine if they had only had it on one console.
Maybe they could have. Maybe they would have recouped some money with the exclusive deal. Just like
Possibly.
they're trying to do by making you buy a new version.
Also, Horizon Zero Dawn, I already mentioned. Spider-Man did make my list for
So
the
good.
sheer fact of what they pulled off and made it just feel so dang good and made me almost shed tears at the end of that game.
There are storytelling decisions in that game that I am flabbergasted Marvel allowed them to do.
Yes, I agree.
It was actually one of two games this generation that made me shed a tear.
Was either the Rats game?
Ori.
Oh, the
and
second
Will
one.
of the Wisps.
Yeah.
Yeah, Spider-Man made me cry like a baby like 4 times.
Oh yeah.
Just sobbing.
That one scene every time.
It's insane.
It was brutal. And my last one, which is a weird one, but Celeste.
Oh,
For the sheer fact that I've actually played through that game multiple times. I know it's a platformer. The music is great. The storytelling is surprisingly good for, which is ostensibly a platformer. That's all you do is platform. But it's brilliant. It's a brilliant game, and it even covers anxiety in a way that's respectful and insightful. Would not have expected that. So Celeste is definitely in my top 5 of favorite games of the year.
notable lack of Breath of the Wild on these lists.
Well, I thought about that. I know that technically the Switch is in here, but to me, the Switch, it almost doesn't feel part of the generation for some reason.
Right.
Yeah. I am in the same boat with you. Like, I actually, for me, Nintendo has kind of pushed themselves out of the generational loop.
And I don't mean that, and I don't think you mean that in a bad way.
No.
It's not like we're disparaging Nintendo at all. They just feel like they're in a different world.
Yeah. I know you and I talked about it on over the weekend, but Nintendo actually functions on a different generation loop
Right.
than the other ones do. I actually did some research over this, like, because we always look at like the set 6, 7, 8 year range. Nintendo has consistently dropped a new console every 5 to 5.5 years.
Interesting.
Which was the mentality back in the day. Right, like PS1 to PS2 is 5 years, and PS2 to PS3 is 5 years.
PS1 to PS2 was 6.
What? Oh,
PS2 to
what,
PS
in America? Well, yeah, I guess.
In America is what I'm talking about.
Okay. My mistake.
PS1 to PS2 was 6. PS2 to PS3 was 6.
Wait, that math doesn't check out. Wait, when did PS1 come out?
PS1 was December 3rd, 1994.
Oh, shit, I thought it was 95. My bad.
PS2 is March 4th, 2000, so 6 years.
Yeah, I stand corrected.
But PS3 to PS4 was 7 years, and PS4 to PS5 was 7 years. But then you look at the Xbox side of things, this is where it gets weird. Xbox to Xbox 360 was 4 years.
Right. And they slashed and burned. Yeah, they just stopped all support for the original Xbox and they put out the 360.
Yeah. And then the 360 to the Xbox One was 8. And
That's a
then
long time.
Xbox One to Series X was 7. But when you look at Nintendo going all the way back to the NES to now, it's been consistently 5 to 5.5 years every single one.
And they've been doing handhelds in between those.
Yeah. So I mean they've been pumping things out. Like, I didn't even include handhelds
Yeah.
in this because you have like the PSP and the Vita. So I mean we've got essentially another 2 years before Nintendo's next iteration. If they stay consistent. So for me, they aren't really part of the generation.
Here's what's interesting. I don't even think they need a new Switch unless they do something else innovative I don't even think they need to innovate. That is a solid console, and they've got 2 versions, the Lite and the regular. Both serve their purpose. They're both decently priced. They just need they just need to focus on some games.
Or fixing Joy-Con drift issues.
That too.
Right. I'm sure they'll put out a Switch XL, but outside of that, I really don't know what they need.
Yeah.
But we've said that almost every time around. Like, what are they going to do?
I don't know.
I think we all get better.
We all agree we didn't want the Wii U around.
The Wii U was kind of a weird one.
I liked the Wii U.
I didn't say I didn't.
Well, let me say that I liked the idea behind it. There was nothing for it. There was 3 or 4 games.
137.
No, I understand how many there actually were, but I'm saying like must plays.
Yes.
Exclusive to it, yeah, I will agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I'm actually curious to see what Nintendo will come with when they do whatever they're going to do next, because they have been insanely innovative with what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Because
look what they're doing with Mario Kart.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you look at the Wii. Like the Wii was amazing, all the way back to the NES. I mean, that completely revitalized the video game market.
Right.
They do a lot of insane innovation, and I love it. But I mean, when you look at Microsoft and PlayStation, I mean, this generation alone, I mean, we saw the death of the Kinect in 2018, which I thought was amazingly innovative. But then PlayStation was the first one to make the jump into VR.
Mm-hmm.
And that was back in 2016, and it's still thriving.
Would you say it's thriving on PlayStation?
I think so. The VR is finally getting the boost that I wanted as a kid, because now the fact that you're actually seeing VR commercials on TV, like the fact that the Quest and the Quest 2 sold out and were the Quest 1 was insane to try to get a hold of. We're
not talking about the Quest though. We're talking about the PSVR, and you called it thriving.
They're still making games for it.
They're still making games for it. I don't know if it.
But here's the thing: when you look at the last iteration of VR in the video game console market, that was the Virtual Boy.
No, I know it's doing better than in the past.
I actually think it's thriving. You love Beat Saber. You love Pistol Whip.
Mm-hmm. Keep talking, nobody explodes.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first time around where VR games have actually come to the forefront and been really good. Moss, Blood and Truth.
I'm not saying that the games are poor. When I hear thriving, I think that it's selling gangbusters. The PSVR didn't sell super well until they dropped the price for Black Friday to $200 to get people into it.
Understandable, but of the 3 of us, who owns a PSVR?
All 3 of us.
Exactly. So in my mind, I believe it is thriving. It has pushed VR to the forefront in video gaming. The fact that we keep talking about it.
Well, one of us does.
Well, for the PSVR, yes, but for the PSVR, I do feel is slightly outdated technology. Yes. Because it has made leaps and bounds. But the fact that there are multiple people on this team that keep asking to borrow my Quest, and the fact that we are moving into a new generation where there's the possibility of support for consoles with better headsets.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the future of VR is exciting, but for me, I own the PSVR, but it's just such a hassle to set up.
It is.
Yes.
And God forbid you unhook your console to go play outside on your deck. Trying to figure out which cord goes to which on that PSVR is such a pain. I hate it.
I will agree with that. But for the first actual foray into VR on a console, I think it was an amazing leap forward.
Oh, yeah. I had a ton of fun the first time playing that. I mean, and Beat Saber works fine. You just can't spin around. But that doesn't hamper the gameplay at all. It was funny when he left the house on Saturday, he accidentally left his Quest on my couch. And I didn't even realize it at first, and I was super excited. All right, I get to hang on. I get to play some Quest for a little bit.
Well, doesn't he still have your Super Mario Circuit?
Nope, he gave that back to me.
Oh, okay.
Still sitting in the back seat of my car waiting to be used because I got to figure out where to set it up at school because that's got to happen. But I also don't want it to. I'm thinking giving kids something plastic to play and then bringing it back home might not be a good idea.
Yeah. Coronavirus stays there.
Yeah. Anyway, I totally lost my train of thought. What was I talking about?
His quest. You were going to use it.
Oh yeah, I was all excited because I'm going to play this quest, and then he forgot like his battery pack for his vape mod, and I texted him, let him know that he left that there, and so he stopped by to pick that up, and then I was like, oh yeah, I need my quest too, and I was like, dang it, so did not get to play any quest.
Well, I have a question for both of you, kind of off the cuff here.
A question?
Yes, a question. What do you guys think was the biggest disappointment in this generation?
Oh man, since they remade it, does Journey count?
Jeez,
no.
Get off your horse.
That Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game, the Manhattan one. I can't remember what the exact title was. That was before you guys joined the show. I was super stoked to play a Ninja Turtles game, and that game was a turd.
I was expecting you to say Ben-Hur.
Oh my god, Ben-Hur was awful.
So they made a Ben-Hur game?
Yeah, it was like it was a free game, wasn't it? Wasn't it free?
Yeah. I hope
it was free.
I hope your expectations weren't too high.
No.
Yeah.
But it was. We both played it because it was lauded as being easy achievement points, and it wasn't nearly as easy as everyone said it was going to be.
Okay.
It was a chariot racing game.
Yeah, it was bad.
It was bad.
What about you, Zach?
I try not to dwell on the disappointments, but honestly, it comes to mind as Lego Marvel Superheroes 2.
Okay.
Because the first game is amazing. I platinumed it. I probably put like over 80 hours into Lego Marvel Superheroes. It is such a celebration of the Marvel universe, and I was so jazzed for the sequel because, you know, on top of the great foundations of this open world Lego game, they had different like time zones. Like there was a whole noir area in the open world area and a 2099 section. And it was just like, oh my, like it was so exciting. And the Inhumans were there. It was cool as hell. And because of the voice actor strikes, all the voice acting was atrocious, which if you play the Lego games, it's mostly for the humor. And it was just buggy and incomplete. And the MCU got its grubby little influence all over it, which was incredibly disappointing because the first game was just straight up the comics. And then the second one was how much of the MCU can we squeeze into here? It was very disappointing. And I don't know, because I'm not often jazzed for Lego games, but I was over the moon excited for that game, and it sucked.
That's a bummer.
Yeah. For me, Evolve.
Oh yeah, Evolve.
That was a multiplayer 4v1.
Yes.
Yeah, where one is the giant monster, and then you face off against the others.
Was it the game that couldn't even sell for $5 at one point? Yeah.
Yep. And I was excited when I first saw the trailer for that one. So I mean, that was I tried so hard to like play that game forever, and just I think I made it a total of like 3 to 4 total hours played. Is like how disappointed I was for that game.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, it really was. But more surprisingly, Halo 5.
Oh, that's a good.
Just like Halo 5 is everybody.
Halo 4.
I'm saying
set the
biggest
tone.
disappointment. Like four at least tried to start moving things, and then 5 just felt like a hot, steamy pile.
So you're thinking like it was disappointing story-wise? Because I thought the gameplay was I also played co-op with 3 other people. Like almost the entire thing with 3 people, which was a blast.
Yeah. It just didn't feel like 2 or 3. Or 4 even.
No. I would agree.
See, I never finished 4.
Arkham Knight was also disappointing. In a lot of ways.
Arkham Knight.
The story doesn't even make any sense. It's garbage. but then like there are aspects of the story that are good. So it's such a weird mixed bag, and the Batmobile wouldn't stop with the damn Batmobile, but
yeah.
I want a whole game of the Batmobile.
That's fine if it's what you're getting into.
Right.
And then I had one other random question. What was the most out of left field thing that came out of this generation for you?
Out of left field thing? That's on the spot, man. I'm not prepared.
But sometimes that's where the best answers come from.
Man, going off the cuff?
Yeah. Because I have one, and you know what? I'll kick this off. The rise of the battle royales.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, that definitely. Then but that wasn't just console either. That was PC.
Again, though, I'm just surprised in this time frame. It came out of nowhere and just became such a huge phenomenon.
I mean, you could. It's not nearly as big as battle royale, but you'd also say the rise of the roguelike or roguelite has definitely taken off this generation.
Oh, indie games in general.
Yeah, I mean, indie games were always there, though, but they're just more prolific than they were in the last generation.
True.
Yeah. I don't know, for me, man. The response to the Order 1886 really took me out. Like, they really, because like I played that game and loved it, and I was very surprised at the reaction of everyone else. I was like, it's such a cool setting. The fact that setting is going to waste pains me to this day.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know it's not as all-encompassing as your answers, but the Order...
Well, I think Scott's still stumped, so...
The Order 86 deserves life.
I said I think Scott's still stumped, and I do agree. Like, the Order 1886 was actually one of the games that I originally bought my PlayStation for.
Uh-huh.
And I never played it.
Still haven't played it?
Nope.
You can knock that out in an afternoon.
I know. I own it. I still have yet to play it.
I also feel like this generation was one of the first generations I remember where I kept hearing, and maybe it's because I started doing a podcast this generation, but I feel like I heard about more canceled games that felt near completion this generation than any other generation. Between Scalebound, that game looked way far along. That Star Wars 1313 game,
Star Wars Ragtag as well.
I mean, there's so many games that, like, how did this game just not get finished? How did you put that much work into it, and it just doesn't exist anymore?
Almost assuredly, there's a canceled Superman game at Rock City, I would have to think, because you don't spend 7 years on a Suicide Squad game.
That's probably a fair assessment.
They just reskinned everything.
Or even the God of War, Sony Santa Monica, they had a sci-fi game that was 3 years in development, and they canceled it for God of War.
I mean, that wasn't a bad choice, but still.
No, but that's just still to your point of games that were almost done, and they were like, well, all right, never mind.
I want like, wasn't there a book or a YouTube series about? I want a YouTube series on canceled games.
I think there's a book called "The Games That Almost Were."
Yeah,
because they had an excerpt about a 1990s Green Lantern game that didn't happen.
Well, I mean, not necessarily the older games. I'm talking about like last generation.
No,
I feel like there's a lot of untold stories.
I'm sure.
Well, I mean, I know we've brought it up before about Amy Hennig's game.
Right,
yeah,
Star Wars Ragtag.
Star Wars game.
Star Wars Ragtag.
Wasn't there there was the other one that she got pulled off of?
There was Star Wars 1313, which is the Boba Fett game that got canceled. Then there was Star Wars, it was just called Project Ragtag, which was Amy Hennig's heist Star Wars game that got canceled.
Which sounds awesome.
Yeah, it sounds unbelievable. But then she also got pulled off of her version of Uncharted 4.
That was the one I was thinking of.
Okay, and then they rebuilt the game.
The other version.
So there you go. They canceled Uncharted 4 and restarted it. Yeah, there's another example. There's a lot of drama this generation behind the scenes.
Yes.
Hideo Kojima, Phil Fish, Amy Hennig.
Wasn't Phil Fish during the
You're probably
previous generation? That was 360 PS3 era,
I can't remember. I can't remember Fez 2's timeline. You're probably right though.
Well, Fez 2 never happened, but Fez
not yet.
Dude, that'd be a great bold prediction for 2021 whenever we get to that episode. What's going to happen in 2021? Phil Fish is going to make a comeback and Fez 2 releases in the summer. That would be amazing. CB, any more research, or are you tapped out?
I've actually managed to sneak just about everything in that I wanted to.
All right. Well, that was a fun episode. Godspeed to you guys, as well as everybody listening, as we enter the new console generation. I'm weirdly not. I mean, we've talked about this to death, but I'm not like giddy like I usually am.
Yeah. I'm starting to feel the excitement finally.
I am this weekend. I think sitting down and doing a quote unquote marathon with UCB was got me a little stoked. But it's not like when the Wii was coming out or when the original Xbox One. I was just super excited. Couldn't wait to see what new things were on the horizon. And what do you know? It was Horizon. But anyway, that's going to do it for this episode of The Gaming Outsider. Zach, any parting words before we get out of here for the night?
I read this insane new comic called Kill or Be Killed. It's about this guy. He wants to kill himself because he hates his life, but then as he's falling, he decides he doesn't want to die. But then like this crazy situation happens where his leg gets caught up in a laundry line, and he like slams down into a bank of snow, and he survives the fall. But then a demon comes to him and says, "You owe me 1 life for every 1 month extra of your life." So the guy decides to kill bad people. And it's just a cool story about is the demon even real, or is he hallucinating it? It's just, and it's like got a lot of these like ruminations and tangents on society. And you could just tell Ed Brubaker, the writer, was, because this comic started in 2016. You could tell he was pretty disappointed with the world's decision making in 2016 for some strange reason. And it's kind of like an angry comic, but I don't know. It's got some thoughtful ideas on society, and it treats violence in a cool way where it just kind of happens. And it's just, I don't know, explores the psychology of murder in an interesting way because a standard protagonist, you would feel bad for him if the demon really was a bargain, but like, do you really want to feel bad for him? He's still murdering people. So it's just kind of it's a cool comic. It's really great. It's only 20 issues long, but I could
What's it called again?
Kill or Be Killed by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. It is incredible.
Nice. Well, Zach, thanks so much for being here. CB, how about you?
I'm still plowing through Bleach with my son.
Oh, nice.
He's actually completely watched all the way through all the episodes on Netflix.
I didn't know it was on Netflix.
Well, the English dubbed ones are up until the end of the Bount series. And so now it's just getting ready for going to Huecamundo.
It's been a minute since I've seen any Bleach.
Well, that's where like Grimjaw comes in.
Oh, okay.
But the problem is that's where the English dubbed ends. So now I have to introduce him, and he's never really watched Japanese subtitled stuff. So I'm like, it's going to be a shock for him.
Is it not streaming dubbed anywhere? Like Crunchyroll or Funimation or anything?
Well, that's where I'm going to have to switch him over to my Crunchyroll account. But he wanted to watch it on Netflix because he could watch it on his like little kid tablet, which had Netflix on it. So I will report back on that because I think that's where that series really got good. Was the fight against everything in Huecamundo. So
very cool. Well, thank you, CB, also for being here, and thank you, listeners, for checking out The Gaming Outsider. Just a reminder, the show is produced by Nate Lucas, and all the music you hear is written and performed by Grant Henry of Stemmage and Metroid Metal. You can see his website at stemmagemusic.com. He has lots of different things that he's doing music for, so be sure to check that out. Also, be sure to email us if you have any questions or concerns. Our address is feedback@thegamingoutsider.com. Until next week, I'm Scott Clark with Zach Parkerson and Chris Behrensmeyer, and we are The Gaming Outsider. And remember, there's no such thing as a bad game, just games that aren't for you.